stream where I want to remind you about something I think you probably already know because you're awake and aware and you see what's going on in the world, the craziness that's going on in the world. But I want to make sure that you know this, and that is that everything that's happening in our world that they are doing in order to cause chaos and disorder and despair in some cases, all is because of lack of knowledge on our part to varying degrees. Knowledge is how they're doing what they're doing. It's how we're allowing them to do what they're doing. It's how they know different things than us, esoteric knowledge about themselves, about ourselves, about the world at large, about history, about human nature, about the psychology of people. Knowledge is how they manipulate us. Knowledge is how we are manipulated or lack thereof, right? Everything is a mirror. They have the knowledge of how to manipulate us. We don't have that knowledge. We weren't taught those skills, those, again, esoteric, that esoteric knowledge and information didn't get imparted to us. Because here's the thing, the leaders of our world, the money people, the political people, the very wealthy people, do you ever think, and let's just even throw the person who I believe this is the fallen world and it's all under that person's rule, why would that person and all of his minions ever give us the real goods? Why would they give us the real goods? And in fact, not only are they not giving us the real goods, the real knowledge, the spiritual knowledge, the divine knowledge, the God knowledge of how to be healthier, wealthier, and more successful, not only are they not giving us those, but they're actually giving us the complete opposite information, right? Again, the devil came to steal, kill, and destroy. And his agents came to help him steal, kill, and destroy. This is what's happening on a country scale and a global scale. It's happening in Great Britain. It's happening in the United States. Cultural subversion, societal subversion, chaos, disorder, destruction. When you see so much immigration happening, all artificially made, all man-made, because they have the powers that be, including that one dude that we shall not name, starts with an S, ends with an N, have hurt or destroyed the economies in other countries. And so no wonder they've sunk those ships. No wonder the people are now scrambling to get into the ships that are still afloat. That happens to be the United States at the moment. We're seeing holes in that ship happening in New York, happening in California, Seattle, Portland. People are fleeing those areas en masse because those proverbial ships in our fleet, say our fleet is 50 ships, right? The states are 52 states and or territories. If each one of those is a ship in our greater army, in our greater, enforcements, if those ships start falling, we're in peril, right? And that's why knowledge and information, and I really want to talk more about the media business blueprint guide here in this video as well, but knowledge and information is how we win. It's how they win, but it's also how we win. I do believe we're in an information war. We're in a war of ideas. We're in a battle for the hearts and minds of every human being on the planet. The devil and his agents, i.e., the propagandists, the misinformation mongers, the fear mongers, the rushing mongers, they're always trying to confuse us, divide us, cause fear, doubt, and anxiety and worry in us. And I will reiterate the fear part. Fear and rushing are their two best weapons. And so that's the information that I'm talking about, that that I share with people anytime I can get them. And really, like I said at the beginning of the video, it's a reminding you. You already know this. It's a reminding you that fear and rushing are their favorite weapons. Fear and rushing caused people to do things they wouldn't normally have done in 2021. And there we are. And that's how they do it all the time. Fear and rushing, fear, war on terror, fear, war on drugs, fear, war on crime, fear, 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 fear. That's all they use is fear to keep people disoriented and off center and not in their right mind. Because again, it is a mind game. Everything happens up here in the mind, your perception, how we perceive them, what we think is happening, what is really happening, all undermining. It's happening with pandemics, it's happening with climate, it's happening with the financial situation. Remember, the Rothschilds, who are largely behind a lot of this, they acquired everything they have by trickery, right? Look into what happened during the Napoleon time and a critical battle there that eventually the war turned. Look at what they did there in order to capture wealth, in this case, a lot of real estate and or businesses. They're tricksters. This is why I often tell people, if there's one documentary you watch in order to come up to speed in the best possible way in this world, there's so many documentaries out there, but if you watch only one, that is Everything is a Rich Man's Trick. It's on YouTube. It's like 3 hours long. Bar none, hands down, the best time investment you'll ever make, because what it shows you, and again, it's not in the media guide, but it's in the Great Awakening Guide at greatawakeningguide.com. But what that documentary shows you is that they're talking about specific events in history with that. Everything is a rich man's trick, but it gives you a perspective and a lens with which to see everything they do. Everything they do is a rich man's trick. They get us to accept their solution, the Hegelian dialectic process. This is all that they use over and over and over and over again. They get us to accept a solution that benefits them. Let's look at it in the COVID times. The Hegelian dialectic is problem, reaction, solution. The problem is, oh my gosh, there's a crazy VIRUS on the loose, and you need to be fearful of it. It's this and this. It's the worst thing since, whatever. That's the problem. Reaction, people freak out. People freak out, even though I contend that if they would have looked in their surroundings, one, if they wouldn't have been watching the media in the first place, they would have never known there was a problem. See, the media plants the problem. We make the reaction, and then, and by the way, when they plant the problem, they're guiding us to the solution they want. That's the loop. Problem, reaction, solution. They guide us to the solution they want, either getting them more money, power, and control, one of those things, or surveillance over us, which falls under the control. People are in a fearful state in COVID times. They react. They want a solution. The solution is, what? People get that, what? At the very minimum, we all know, I think we can all agree, whether you're pro VAX or anti VAX, at the very minimum, we enriched people. I think everyone would agree we enriched pharmaceutical companies. Now, let's take it another step further. A lot of people may agree, think like me, is we enriched criminal companies. Pharmaceutical industry are the most criminal companies on the planet, based on fines levied from the Department of Justice. If you want to look at it from another metric, I'm fine to do that. Based also on people unalived. Vioxx, look into that situation. Look into the opioid situation. Again, Google or search pharmaceutical lawsuits. It's a wiki article, and they're huge criminals. So we enriched a bunch of people. We took money from our government and gave it to these people. Our government took our money and gave it to these people. That's what really happened. Some people didn't want that, but we had to do it anyway. So the government took the money, gave it to the people. But then if you go a step further, some people like myself believe those are criminal corporations. Some people probably don't. Some people can look at all the fines, all the judgments against them and say, well, I don't think they're criminal at all. That's your prerogative. But we have hard evidence, if you go by data and history, that those are corrupt people. And then also, the politicians are corrupt. They lie to people all the time. There were no weapons of mass destruction. What's the other big lie that they told? Well, it would stop TRANSMISSION. That's a little / big lie right there. Because if I was someone who was going to get it for that reason and it didn't do that, I'd be pissed that my gov said it would do something they didn't do. But again, I didn't budge a muscle because I know them to be liars. And once a person shows me who they are, Maya Angelou style, I believe them. So where was I? The Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. Problem, reaction, solution happened in early 2000s when those planes hit those buildings. The reaction was, holy shit, this is super bad. The solution that they wanted to put in place was, okay, we're going to give you the Patriot Act so we can surveil you more and we can listen to bad guys more. And by the way, you're all involved in this. I believe where they're going with the border crisis, again, border crisis is Hegelian dialectic as well, problem, reaction, solution. Problem is lots of people appear to be coming across the border, and I say appear because that's what the perception they're giving us. I haven't physically seen that. I've seen video evidence of it. I've heard people talk about it. The likelihood is pretty good, because I beyond the mainstream media, which I know to be liars, I look to independent journalists, people boots on the ground, and it appears these people are coming across the border. That's the problem. The solution is, and Donald Trump already signed this into order in one of his first few executive orders. James Corbett talked about it. The ability in the paving the road for them to put biometric scans at the borders, and I think also digital IDs and VACC-INE passports and CBDCs. We know they want that because, again, they want more money, power, and control. They've got a lot of the money now. Now they just have to wrap up the power and control. And this is why my point of this video, that it's important to acquire information and share it with everyone who will listen, is because that's how we're going to win. The Media Business Blueprint is an idea that I got to create an army of information vendors, right? For information distributors, right? In the media game, to build a media around topics that you feel are important in the world, issues you feel people need to know about so that they can have a better life. You talk about those things, you build in you create products, information-based products, to sell those people that solve certain problems that you have already solved or are good at solving. And that's why everyone's media business blueprint is going to look a little different. They're always going to get the attention. You're always going to inform them. But on the back end, what you sell is going to be different from what another person sells. What I sell is different from what you're going to sell. I sell my books, Magic of Being, Boundless Joy, Alchemy of Despair. I sell the Media Business Blueprint, which is a system that I've created to create a media business around the topics that I feel are important. So Media Business Blueprint. There's some other things, Focus and Flow brand, right? Products and apparel for conscious creators. Those are the things that I've created to sell on the back end of once you get someone's attention and share them, give them knowledge, and infotain them is how I call it. Again, you can learn more at mediabusinessblueprint.com, but that is the idea of this video. I hope you realize that acquiring knowledge and sharing knowledge is how we're going to win this information war, this psychological warfare that we're in. Because that's how they have attacked us. Information and knowledge, silent weapons for quiet wars, cultural subversion, trying to invert reality, right? Teaching children really ridiculous things to warp their mind, to capture them, to indoctrinate them, teaching adults really ridiculous things. Remember, there's two ways to misinform someone. You could either deliberately misinform them, or you could just uninform them. That's a big factor too. Again, when they have specialized knowledge, secret knowledge about our bodies, our minds, our health, the world in which we live, how to manifest things, how to align with God, how to use the principles that are in this world, and they don't share with you that, they're uninforming you. See, ignorance is uninformed. Well, I think ignorance is you don't even want to know. Uninformed person is an uninformed person. But if you acquire knowledge, you're going to be better off in the world. Knowledge is power. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is disempowering, right? When you don't know something, you are disempowered. if people, again, if people would have known who the pharma industries were, I do not think they would have done what they did in 2021. That's my message in this live. Again, kind of talking around Media Business Blueprint. You can learn more at mediabusinessblueprint.com. Version 1 is out now. It's a downloadable PDF, again, with access to all in really simplified, no fluff form, access to all the information, all of the ideas and insights I've gathered 10 years on my journey doing this. Because I want to get you up to speed as quickly as possible if you are interested in, building a media business and getting into the media game and potentially creating a second stream of income, or a third or a fourth, depending on how many you got rolling. Again, you kill two birds with one stone. You become more knowledgeable, which is in and of itself priceless. Knowledge is power, and knowledge is really one of the most valuable things in the world. Again, if you have specialized knowledge, you can trade stocks when the right time is. Again, they had specialized knowledge before that event with the two buildings crashing. Some people had specialized knowledge before that event with the two buildings crashing in early 2000s. And there were a lot of stock trades that capitalized on that. Again, it's all about knowledge. This is how the CIA, how these covert action agencies are effective. They have knowledge. It's knowledge. In the information age, knowledge is currency. It is valuable. It's one of the most valuable things in the world. It can keep you out of trouble. It can create wealth for you. It can create understanding, make you healthier, wealthier, more successful. Knowledge is the thing. Then you just simply apply the knowledge in the right way at the right time, in the right place, and you improve your life. So that's my pitch. Thanks very much for listening. I appreciate you. Leave me a thumbs up if you like this video, and I'd love to have you as a subscriber here on my YouTube channel and also on social media. Thanks very much. Have an awesome day. Bye-bye.